Vanakkam, Namaste, Namaskaram, Jai Shri Ram, Swamiye Saranam Ayyappa. Welcome to the journey on Active World TV. You've got myself, Murgan, as well as Kimera, Heeralal.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you all for joining us today. I know we've got some bad networks still, and apparently
it's you.
Some cable underground in West Africa or something was...
I blame you.
Why me?
I don't know. I have no one else to blame.
We'll just start a story long time ago.
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. If you are watching for the very first time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done it already.
Okay, for those of you who tried to watch yesterday as well, you've noticed there's been a lot of drops. I know in a lot of areas as well, there's been no signal at all.
Yeah.
So what we did was we recorded the show and then we uploaded it.
Yeah. So it's there for you to watch.
It's on YouTube.
You don't have to tell them that if they subscribe. You know that, right?
Yes, but still, I'd rather, maybe some of them don't.
Kind fella, this one.
Some people don't subscribe.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already, please do subscribe.
Don't forget, we are live right now, so if you want to interact with us in studio today, you can do so at the bottom of your screen where it says live chat. Go for it. Yeah.
Just type there.
Whatever
type
you
the
feel
long
like.
stories there. I don't mind reading the long stories out. Okay, yesterday we did kind of a nice story as well. And I tried not to leave any cliffhangers.
He tried, Ramashni. He tried.
And I made sure we finished our story yesterday.
Round of applause to you. Yeah.
So on that note, we're starting a different story.
Well, it is Wednesday today. Okay, and according to my knowledge, it belongs to Lord Ganesha, Ayyappa, and is it Narasimha as well?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But it's also
Yeah, the Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken.
But then again, according to me, every day is every Swami's day.
Yeah. But hey, it's what I was taught, okay?
That's my own belief. Any day is God's day.
Okay.
It all depends on you as well and how you feel. If you feel like praying to certain Swami on a certain day or fasting for certain Swami on a certain day, you're more than welcome to. I'm sure they'll be more than willing to listen. It's not like they only listen on certain days.
Are we ever going to talk about Narasimha?
Yes, we will.
We will. We will get to that.
We will get to that. There's a lot of, like I said, we're still busy with the story of Ram.
Okay.
So when we finish with Ram, then we go to different avatar and so forth and so forth. And we give more in-depth so that everybody gets to know the different avatars and the reasons they came about and so forth.
Okay. Okay, so what are we kicking off the show today?
That's part of what we're trying to teach.
Okay.
You know what? Let's start with a bit of content.
Okay.
We've got for everybody. Now we've got something. We're not sure of the date. They say it's between the 1930s to 1950s.
Oh yes.
By K. Veeramani.
Oh nice.
Right. It's Ayyappa Namayanakku.
Oh, check him out. I got anything with Ayyappa and anything with Veeramani in it. I get excited. Check K. Veeramani with Ayyappa Namam and what? Anakku. Yenakku. Hindi girl trying to learn this language. Check them out.
बोधसेनाय विद्महे हरिहरपुत्राय धीमहि तन्नो धर्मशास्त्रा प्रचोदयात् मन्त्रघोषप्रियने स्वामिये ஐயப்ப நாமம் எனக்கு ஜீவ மந்திரம் ஐயப்ப நாமம் எனக்கு ஜீவ மந்திரம் அதை சொல்ல சொல்ல வாழ்வினிலே பேரின்பம் ஐயப்ப நாமம் எனக்கு ஜீவ மந்திரம் அதை சொல்ல சொல்ல வாழ்வினிலே பேரின்பம் ஐயப்ப நாமம் எனக்கு ஜீவ மந்திரம் காடுமலை கடக்க வைக்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம், களைப்பில்லாமல் நடக்க வைக்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம். காடுமலை கடக்க வைக்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம், களைப்பில்லாமல் நடக்க வைக்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம். பாடுவோர்க்கு பலனளிக்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம், பாடுவோர்க்கு பலனளிக்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம். பக்கத்துணையாயிருக்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம். ஐயப்பன் நாமம் எனக்கு ஜீவ மந்திரம், அதை சொல்ல சொல்ல வாழ்வினிலே பேரின்பம். ஐயப்பன் நாமம் எனக்கு ஜீவ மந்திரம். போல தித்திக்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம், தெய்வ நலம் கூட வைக்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம். தேனி போல தித்திக்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம், தெய்வ நலம் கூட வைக்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம். மோனத்தவ நலம் சேர்க்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம், மோனத்தவ நலம் சேர்க்கும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம். முக்திதரும் சித்திதரும் ஐயப்பன் நாமம். ஐயப்பன் நாமம் எனக்கு ஜீவ மந்திரம், ஐயப்பன் நாமம் எனக்கு ஜீவ மந்திரம். அதை சொல்ல சொல்ல வாழ்வினிலே பேரின்பம். ஐயப்பன் நாமம் எனக்கு ஜீவ மந்திரம். சபரிமலை ஐயப்பா சஞ்சலத்தை மாற்றப்பா, அபயம் தரும் ஐயப்பா ஆறுதலை அருளப்பா. சபரிமலை ஐயப்பா சஞ்சலத்தை மாற்றப்பா, அபயம் தரும் ஐயப்பா ஆறுதலை அருளப்பா. கருணை உள்ள ஐயப்பா கை கொடுத்து உதவப்பா, கருணை உள்ள ஐயப்பா கை கொடுத்து உதவப்பா. அருளுருவே ஐயப்பா அரிப்பாய் ஐயப்பா. ஐயப்ப நாமம் எனக்கு ஜீவ மந்திரம், அதை சொல்ல சொல்ல வாழ்வினிலே பேரின்பம். ஐயப்ப நாமம் எனக்கு ஜீவ மந்திரம்.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Hey, I was lost in that song.
I saw you was going for the just praising it.
Yeah, no, to me it felt like,
Yeah.
you know, talking about the story of Ayyappa, like
Yeah,
how you take his name.
yeah, that's
You know,
true.
leave.
He takes your name, you take his name.
Ayyappa Namam.
So I can't wear my gold chain.
So
when I'm
your
there.
name becomes my name. Ayyappa's name becomes my name.
Can I give him my gold name? He likes gold, doesn't he? Alright, so as we're going on with the show, before you go into it, don't move. We are going to talk about iPapa when we come back, right?
Let's start with a story first.
A story
short
first.
story.
Yeah, okay.
Let's start with a short story before we go.
Okay, wait. Before we go, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, we want you to interact with us in studio. Remember, this show is not only about us and about what we know, we also want to know what you know. So interact with us in studio today. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, it says there, live chat. You can type your comments and share your beliefs or your opinions on whatever we are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, okay, so there we are. We're going to come back straight after this.
You can do anything. All you need is determination and a fresh pair of these nallies. But what's the point of looking like Injay game if all your money is on your feet and your dreams go up in flames? In this world of doing it for Ikram, do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money seriously?
Vanakkam, namaste, namaskaram, Jai Shri Ram, Swamiye Saranamayappa. Welcome to the Journey on Actonville TV. If you just join us, thank you very much. You've got myself, Murgan, as well as Kimera, Heeralal.
Hey,
Thank you for
everyone.
joining us.
Good evening.
All right, like I said, we're going to start with the story, a short story.
Back to Ayyappa.
No.
No.
It's a story that like I said,
Yeah.
the whole day, somebody sent me some content as well regarding ayyappa.
Mr. Anonymous, it's a Mr. right?
I don't know if it's a Mr. or Mr. They just said anon.
Good evening to Anon.
Right. They sent me some content as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've cut out a bit of it in the beginning as well, but
Okay.
it doesn't really. There's too technical stuff, too much technical stuff there. But I'm going to be reading that out to you as well, so that you can see as well that we're more than open to read and to learn from everybody else. It's a different story regarding when Narayana took the form of Mohini as well.
Yes.
It's a story we all know as well.
Yes.
Because if you watched Mahabharata, we'll know it as well.
Okay.
Now, the story I talked about was Bhasmasura as well.
Okay.
Now, this one falls on a different perspective
Okay.
that we all know
Let's
when
do
they
that.
churn the ocean
Okay.
for the nectar. Right? Now, one of the stories about it is Lakshmi Devi came from there as well
Okay.
when they churned the ocean.
Okay.
So we'll get to that. But first, once upon a time in a land far, far.
I'm sorry. I just every time when I was a kid, I go once upon a time. You see me put my head down on somebody's lap or shoulder, and I'm gone.
Okay. Let's change it out. Long, long ago.
Oh,
Right?
God, if it was, I'm
At
leaving.
Vaikuntalok. Right?
Okay.
At Vaikuntalok,
Yes.
Lord Narayana has a boat.
Okay.
Right? Lord Narayana was looking for his conch shell. Couldn't find his conch shell. So he called his guards and they were all busy searching. Everybody's searching. He's searching everywhere for it. He can't find it. Now, it's missing.
Okay.
Now the search continued. As the search continued, he hears something in the distance, far away. And of course can hear miles away things, billions of years away, here, light planets away. So he hears and it sounds like his conch shell.
Okay.
So he starts traveling now in that direction, searching in that direction everywhere. And eventually, as it's still far, he says, no man, this is emanating from Mount Kailash itself. So he starts traveling there. And he goes there and he sees who's got his conch shell and is busy blowing it? Lord Ganesha.
Oh.
Now this story just shows you a little bit of a playful side of Ganesha as well.
Okay. Okay.
Now, Narayana, he knows it's not going to be easy to get his conch shell back from Ganesha.
Wait, why not?
Ganesha is he's being playful and so forth.
Okay.
But he won't just listen to just anybody.
Okay.
You understand? So, what does Lord Narayana do?
Yeah.
Decides to go to the father.
Why not ask him nicely first?
Right?
Okay.
So, maybe he did ask, who knows?
Yeah.
So he goes to Lord Shiva. He says, Lord Shivan, my conch shell is with your son. Please can you speak to him to return it?
Okay.
Right? Now imagine this now. Narayana goes there. He hides the conch shell. No, I'm going to give it to him.
Yes.
So what's he going to do? You can't fight with him there. So you go to the father and say, Father, you know what?
Yeah.
You go to the boy's father and you say, please ask your son to return the conch shell to me. Lord Shiva looks at Narayana and says, unfortunately, I myself do not have any power over Lord Ganesha
What?
and his antics. Right?
Okay.
But if you do a puja and you please him, right, by praying to him, and he's pleased, he will return your conch shell.
Okay.
Now,
Uh-huh.
Lord Narayana then gathers all the elements together, right, and for the puja, and he decides to perform this puja, and he performs it from his heart. Lord Ganesha is seeing this, and he's seeing that Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayana is praying from his heart, and he's doing the puja. He's very pleased. And Lord Ganesha is very easy to please, because if you offer him something from your heart, he will accept it open heart. Even if you offer him a glass, even if it's a petal from a rose or whatever, he will accept it. So he accepted Lord Narayana's offering of puja from his heart.
Okay.
And what happened was he returned the conch shell
Okay.
to Lord Narayana.
Cool.
Now the moral of that story,
Yeah.
number one, teaches, like I said, the playfulness of Lord Ganesha. But no matter how high and powerful Lord Vinayaka is, Lord Narayana is, he still prayed for Ganesha. Think of it that way.
Yeah.
No matter how great he is, he himself still prayed for Ganesha.
That's beautiful.
And that shows how powerful Ganesha is.
Wow, very good evening to Asha Punan. I see signals coming back, but she says that signal is bad and from your side. Yeah, it is. It is, Asha.
She said from our side.
Yeah.
But it's from all over actually. It's mostly on the streaming side.
Yeah.
On the upload, I know our download speeds is quite high as well.
Our download is okay. Our
And
upload speed, which we need for streaming, is very bad. Something with the cable breaking under the ocean or what?
Yeah, I think but it's not us actually. It's the servers that we are connecting to.
Yeah, our YouTube servers, all of that. So yeah, we do apologize on their behalf as we're using their servers.
And we've got like 77 different platforms that we stream across.
Yes.
And D Live is one of them, and Twitch TV as well.
Yeah.
And like Sashi was saying, she watches from London through D Live.
Okay.
So thank you very much, D Live. We appreciate it as well.
Thank you, guys. Well, for those of you who do want to interact with us, you can interact with us at the bottom of the screen like Asha Punan just did in the live chat section. And feel free to interact with us.
Okay,
Yeah.
like I said, that's now one short story.
Yeah.
Now, what I'd like is your comments regarding that story. What do you think? Is it a good story, a bad story? Is it a made-up story?
I think it's a cute story. I never knew that story though. The one you just told.
I didn't know it either.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a lot of stories that come through. And one story that I actually told Asha about, I told you about.
Yeah.
I'm saying Asha because Asha. I actually forgot your name. Kimera. Oh, yeah.
It's Kimera.
The one story,
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that story as well, about giving a plate of grass and
Yes,
how
you told me many times. Yes,
when she went to Lord Indra and Kubera and so forth, and
Yes.
they took over the whole heavens because of one blade of grass.
Yes.
Because it was offered from their heart. Like I said, all the Samis will accept anything that you offer,
Yes.
what you can afford to offer, what you're willing to offer. If you offer it from your heart, openly, they will accept it. You understand?
Yes.
So there's no need to be stingy or whatever. If you want to be stingy or whatever, but if that's all you can afford, if you're poor.
It's stingy.
Some people, the thing is, there's other stories about two brothers making offerings to God, and the offerings, and the one brother is more blessed than the other one. The other one's getting no blessings because he's being stingy and holding back. He's not offering from his heart.
True.
You understand? The one brother's offering from his heart is getting all the blessings. The other brother said, no, I can only offer so much. Right? I have to keep something in reserve for myself.
Yeah.
But he's doing it because he has to do it, not because he wants to do it. You understand? And that's the difference.
Yeah.
When you do something because you're forced to do it, and somebody else does it because they want to do it, the person that's doing it because they want to do it without recognition, what's going to happen? They will receive the blessings. So when you do something, don't just look for recognition as well. Yes, we show people, look, we are doing this and doing that as well. It's not for recognition, but it's to show people out there, you know what, if you want something like that, if you need help in that particular way, come to us. We will try our best to assist you. That is why we always try, when we do something, like Actionable TV does,
Yes.
what we do is we post it up to say, look, we do this, we did this, and we did that. So it's to show people, look, don't be scared of approaching us. Approach us wholeheartedly, and we will try our best to assist you. Now, obviously, if we can't assist you in one way, maybe we can get another company to assist you in another way. You understand? That's how our NPCs work. Am I correct?
That's true. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so interacting with Ellen Murgan this evening. We would love for you to do so at the bottom of your screen where it says live chat, or you can look at the bottom right of your screen and you'll see there all the contact details, and you can interact with us here live as you are here live in studio on Actonville TV. Stay where you are. We'll come back straight after this.
Vanakkam, Namaste, Namaskaram, Jai Sri Ram, Swamiye Saranam Ayyappa. Welcome to the journey on Actonville TV. If you just joined us, you've got myself, Ellen Murgan, as well as Kimera, Heeralal.
Good evening again,
Thank
everyone.
you for joining us. We do appreciate it. Like we said, we just told one short story of Ganesha.
Yeah,
So now, because there's a moral to the stories as well,
yeah.
there's something that I want to share with everybody. It's another story, short story as well.
For the bottom is art.
No, it's something that, it captured my attention as well.
Yes.
And let's start the story.
Okay.
Once upon a time,
He wants me to leave, doesn't he?
okay, a long time ago, in a place
Go for it.
far away,
Go for it, go for it.
Right.
It's fine. Go for it.
Lord Shiva himself. Now, we all know today's Ganesha's day as well, so we'll talk a bit of Ganesha as well. What happened was, when Lord Shiva placed the head of the elephant onto Lord Ganesha and he resurrected him, what he did was, he gave him two boons because of Adi Parasakti or Parvadema. One of the boons is that before you do anything or any prayers or anything, you always pray first to Ganesha, otherwise things will not come right. Right? So this story entails part of that as well. Now, we all know that story because we spoke about it previously. Now, Lord Shiva was about to go to war. And he was rushing, his henchmen came in, army generals and so forth. It's
Okay.
time to go to war. Let's go, so forth. So he jumped in his chariot and about to go. He starts going. He hit a snag on the road. Something happens, the chariot breaks. Then something else goes on. Then something else goes on. And now Lord Shiva himself is wondering what's going on. Because now he can't get to the battlefield in time
Right.
because everything seems to be going wrong and stopping him. So
Right.
every way he turns, or every type of different paths that he takes, he gets stopped. And he's wondering now, what's going on? Why? Then his generals come and said, you know what, there's a river, all of a sudden it's being flooded because of a storm upriver somewhere, and now there's a big flood and we can't cross over and so forth. So you can imagine now in those days, king trying to get to on his war chariot and he's going somewhere and now everything is stopping him. And then eventually he realizes that he made a very big mistake. Because one thing he didn't do before he went to war was pray to Ganesha.
Oh, no.
Now, so what he did was, on the spot, he stopped his whole entire army, he stopped everything, and he decided to perform a puja and pray for Ganesha. Then,
Yes.
right? And he prayed for Ganesha, and then his pathways was opened, and he ended up going to battle. And he was successful.
Well done.
So now, the moral of that story, right, is that no matter what rule you set, everybody, doesn't matter who, even yourself, is definite. You have to make sure that you abide by your own rules. Everybody has to be treated equally, whether it's yourself or somebody else. If you set a rule, follow your own rules. What do you think of that?
I love telling people that, especially Dad, if you're watching the show, don't disrespect or anything, but you know the kids, my house, my rules.
Yeah, but even if it's your house, your rules, follow your own rules in your own house.
Yeah.
If you say, look, don't do this at this particular time and whatever, it's too late to do this and that and that. Don't go against your own words. You understand? Because then you're breaking it. You're bending your own rules for yourself. If you can bend it, so can others.
True.
So that is the story.
I was smiling because I'm wondering if my dad's watching the show.
Kimera's dad, if you are watching the show, just remember that words.
Yeah.
If you set rules, follow your own rules. Because if you break your rules, that means everybody else can break your rules as well.
All right, so
Lead
before
by example.
Before we close off the segment of Ganesha, is that it for today? For the Ganesha part?
There was other stories. Well, if people want to hear more of the stories, like the story of Kimera, for instance, that I had ready, or the story of how Kaveri River came about.
Okay.
Right. But it doesn't look like we'll get to that because obviously
time as well.
But we also want to read the story of ayyappan, the parts that somebody else has sent us as well.
Okay.
So I want to read that out to our viewers as well.
Okay.
So that they can also see, look, we are doing that. We're more than open to listen as well.
Okay. All right. So before we cut to ayyappan, I think we got a little something put together for you.
Yes, we do.
Let's open up the show.
And you know what? It's a song from 1932, right?
That's before
by
your
TMS.
time and my time and everybody's time.
Yeah, long before I was
Who's still
born.
alive from then? I'd like to say shout out.
The name of the song is Swami Saranam Yenayappa.
But by TMS, check them out.
Swami Saranam Saranam Yenayappa.
Check them out, guys.
1932.
சுவாமி சரணம் சரணம் என்னையப்பா சுவாமி இல்லாதொரு சரணம் இல்லையப்பா ஹரிஹர சுதனே அருள்க என் ஐயப்பா அடைக்கலம் நீ இன்றி வேறும் இல்லையப்பா சுவாமி சரணம் சரணம் என்னையப்பா சுவாமி இல்லாதொரு சரணம் இல்லையப்பா ஹரிஹர சுதனே ஐயப்பா அடைக்கலம் நீ இன்றி வேறும் இல்லையப்பா இருமுடி தாங்கிய தலையொரு கோடி கோடியுமே உன்னை தேடி அருள் பெற திருத்தலம் வந்தோம் நாடி இருமுடி தாங்கிய தலையொரு கோடி கோடியுமே உன்னை தேடி அருள் பெற திருத்தலம் வந்தோம் நாடி எரிமேலி தண்ணீரில் ஒரு பேட்டை துள்ளி ஒரு
ஐயப்பா ஐயப்பா சுவாமி ஐயப்பா சுவாமி சரணம் சரணம் எம் ஐயப்பா சுவாமி இல்லாதொரு சரணம் இல்லையப்பா ஹரிஹர சுதனே அருள்கள் ஐயப்பா அடைக்கலம் நீ இன்றி வேறும் இல்லையப்பா பம்பையில் குடிலிட்டு பஜனைகள் பாடி பக்தியுடன் உணவருந்தி அங்கொரு பம்பா விளக்கினை நகர்த்தி பம்பையில் குடிலிட்டு பஜனைகள் பாடி பக்தியுடன் உணவருந்தி அங்கொரு பம்பா விளக்கினை நகர்த்தி சரண் குத்தி ஆடிட ஒரு தாயின் மைந்தர்கள் வந்தோ சபரி பீடம் கண்டு சரண் குத்தி ஆடிட ஒரு தாயின் மைந்தர்கள் வந்தோ ஐயப்பா சுவாமி ஐயப்பா ஐயப்பா சுவாமி ஐயப்பா சுவாமி சரணம் சரணம் இல்லையப்பா சுவாமி எல்லாரொரு சரணம் இல்லையப்பா ஹரிஹர சுதனே அருள்கள் ஐயப்பா அடைக்கலம் நீ இன்றி வேறும் இல்லையப்பா தை முதல் தேதி திருப்பொங்கல் நாளில் சுவாமியின் வாசலை தேடி உனதொரு பெருமையில் மாந்தர்கள் ஆடி தை முதல் தேதி திருப்பொங்கல் நாளில் சுவாமியின் வாசலை தேடி உனதொரு பெருமையில் மாந்தர்கள் ஆடி 18 படி கண்டு கோவிலில் சென்று பரவசமானவர் கோடி 18 படி கண்டு கோவிலில் சென்று பரவசமானவர் கோடி ஐயப்பா சுவாமி ஐயப்பா ஐயப்பா சுவாமி ஐயப்பா சுவாமி சரணம் சரணம் என் ஐயப்பா சுவாமி எல்லாரொரு சரணம் இல்லையப்பா ஹரிஹர சுதனே அருள்கள் என் ஐயப்பா அடைக்கலம் நீ இன்றி வேறும் இல்லையப்பா சுவாமி சரணம் சரணம் என் ஐயப்பா சுவாமி சரணம் சரணம் என் ஐயப்பா சுவாமி இல்லாதொரு சரணம் இல்லையப்பா சுவாமி இல்லாதொரு சரணம் இல்லையப்பா ஹரிஹர சுதனே அருள்கள் என் ஐயப்பா ஹரிஹர சுதனே அருள்கள் என் ஐயப்பா அடைக்கலம் நீ இன்றி வேறும் இல்லையப்பா அடைக்கலம் நீ இன்றி வேறும் இல்லையப்பா சுவாமி சரணம் சரணம் என் ஐயப்பா சுவாமி
Swamiye
Yes,
Saranam Ayyappa.
Ayyappa. That was
Very
beautiful. That, you know,
From 1932.
that is old. To think that traditions and those steps and every single thing is still exactly the same. Well,
And it's kept
from what
the
I've
same.
watched and seen. And that was amazing. That was sent to us by TMS, and thank you guys so much for sending that piece of content. That was beautiful. That was amazing.
That was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
So anyway, talking about that, I'm sure everybody's waiting to do this.
Yes.
We do apologize to everybody as well, to all our viewers. The network is currently very, very bad. Not on our side, but at the server side
Yes.
for streaming.
We stream
So-
through YouTube, DTV Live, Twitch TV.
Yeah.
What's the other platform?
Yes. Well, 77 different
77 of them, but yeah, we do apologize from the bottom of our hearts. It's not our fault. It's out of our hands.
Just remember as well that at the moment, if we're just recording and we're not streaming live now due to the servers being down and so forth. So what happens, we can only upload it to YouTube. So those viewers who are on Twitch TV, D Live and so forth, please tune in on YouTube as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Like we said, okay, I received an email from Anon,
Anonymous, good evening to you.
right? Mr. or Mrs. Anon, as they wish to be called.
Okay.
I've decided to read out. I've cut out the first piece but I do apologize for that. So we start off with the story with the way he describes Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. It says Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are described in the Puranas as three major divine aspects of supreme reality associated with creation, maintenance and dissolution of the universe. These divinities, granting the prayer of a rishi couple, Atri and Anasuya, took a partial manifestation as their son Datta. The consorts of the divinities also thereupon took a partial manifestation as Leela, the daughter of another great rishi. Datta eventually married Leela, and after living a few years of conjugal love, he wanted to renounce the worldly life and engage in spiritual discipline to transcend his conditioned being and to be one of his greater existences. But Leela would not agree to this. She wanted to continue the life of mundane pleasure in the company of Datta, who tried to convince her that one can never find lasting contentment in a lustful life. So the lustful life, like the lives we're living on earth, he wanted to transcend, he wanted to move further up in life, and she wanted to remain here. So she wanted to still be like husband and wife and carry on living.
Okay.
Leela was adamant and enraged. Datta cursed her to be born as Maishi, right? A senseless she-buffalo to satisfy her desires. In the course of time, Leela took birth as a bizarre creature with the head of a she-buffalo and the body of a woman. She was very powerful because of her divine origin, but very dull-witted because of her buffalo nature. She did intense penance and propitiated Lord Brahma, who granted the boons she desired for, such as a powerful creatures very much like herself would emerge out of all her hair follicles whenever she wanted, and that she could not be killed except by one who was born out of union of Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, who was thought to be an impossibility. Having obtained this boon, she struck terror in the heavens, the abode of the Devas, godly beings, and drove them in their king Indra away. She placed herself on the throne of Indra as the ruler of heaven, The oppressed Devas and prayed to Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva for their intervention. Thereupon Datta, who had emerged out of the combined power of the Trinities as their partial manifestation, now assumed, as the result of an earlier curse of Leela, the form of a handsome buffalo, the Sundara Mahishi. Consequently, Mahishi fell in love with Mahisha. They lived together for some time in the heavens, and then Sundara Mahishi lured her down to earth to live in the forest. This gave some relief to the oppressed Devas. It was during this period sage Durvasa, who was well known for his impulsive and vitriolic temper, cursed Indra and the Devas, who had enjoyed perennial youthfulness, to be subjected to old age, as Indra had offered the sage offended him by not showing due respect to garland or present him with a garland. Their heads turned grey and wrinkles appeared all over their body. The panacea suggested for regaining youth was drinking of a special nectar, amrita, to be obtained by churning of the ocean of milk, Kisra Sagara. The Devas prevailed upon the arch-enemies, the Asuras, the demonic forces, to help them perform this Herculean task of churning the milky ocean, using a huge mountain as the churning rod, and several novel and astonishing things emerged from the ocean when the churning progressed. And in the end, when the pot with the precious nectar Amrita surfaced, it was quickly snatched away by the Asuras. Seeing the plight of the Devas, Lord Vishnu assumed the form of the beautiful enchantress called Mohini and approached the Asuras. Every one of them got infatuated with her, she asked them to close their eyes, agreeing to marry the one who would open their eyes last. Now, while the Asuras remained closing their eyes, Mohini left the scene, carrying away the pot of Amrita, which she handed over to the Devas. On seeing the enchanting form of Mohini, Lord Shiva and her, from their union, a son was born. This was Dharma Shastra, who was destined to kill Maheshi, according to the boon given to her by Lord Brahma, that only the one born from the union of Shiva and Vishnu could kill her. In several Purana stories, the churning of the milk ocean finds a place, but only in the Bhagavata and the Skanda Purana is there reference to a son who is born out of the union between Shiva and Vishnu. Skanda Purana gives the name of the son of Shasta. The story of Shasta is elaborated further by Bhutana Pakyanam. That's why apparently he's called Bhutnath.
Okay.
Bhutanath. But this is now something that was sent to us by Mr.
Anonymous.
Anon. Or Miss Anon. Right. It differs from the other story, as Bhasmasura was one story that I said, and yes, we all know this is another story. This doesn't mention about Sheshnag being used as the rope to use for the churning.
I thought
as
you were
well.
going to share an Ayyappa story with us.
No, but I'm saying now
Oh,
this
okay.
is the beginning of Ayyappa story.
Oh, okay. This
Remember,
is
this is now where Mohini and
Yes.
Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva then combine. So
Okay,
here they talk
okay.
of the story of Maheshi,
Yes.
the reason that Ayyappa was born, to defeat her, right? And the story then goes to show exactly how did Mohini take form for Lord Shiva and Mohini to produce Lord Ayyappa, so to
Alright.
say. So this is just a different version of the same story that we previously told,
last week, yeah.
but it goes more in depth onto Maheshi and the reasons of how she came about.
All right.
Are you good?
Okay. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as we're going through the story of Ayyappa, and now we have different versions coming through, which is nice. Thank you, guys. Thank
Yes.
you, Anonymous. Thank you, Alan, as well for teaching us. But don't go anywhere. We're still going to talk about this a little bit more straight after this commercial break.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep going no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up and tackle the big things and the little things that matter. For the voices in line, we're grateful, always here to help. For the ones who get it done.
Vanakkam, Namaste, Namaskaram, Jai Shri Ram, Swamiye Saranamayappa. Welcome to the journey on Activate TV. If you just joined us, you've got myself, Alan Murgan, as well as Kimera Heeralal.
Kimera, Heeralal. Please get that right.
You ever think I ever, the reason I say Kimera and not Kimera,
Yes.
or Chimera, I say Chimera,
Yeah.
instead of Kimera, because you're not key.
But you have to respect somebody's name. I mean,
No, it's just a different way of pronunciation.
No
You see,
way.
like, you say potato, I say potato.
No, that is not a name. That is a, you get what I'm saying?
It's a different way of pronouncing the same thing.
No.
You have to be
I have a
open.
beautiful name, thank you very
You
much.
know, some people say Alan.
No ways.
They call me Alan. No, it's
No ways.
so it's
I'd
Alan.
correct them. If they can't say it, you can call me Kim. It's fine.
You know, some of the guys when I used to work at the one panel beating shop, right?
Yeah.
Then they used to go Ellen.
Yeah. But
Now,
your name
I
is
think
so simple.
The way they say it, it sounded like they're saying Helen or
Oh,
Ellen.
Yes.
You see, some of them thought my name was Helen.
Yeah.
No, what was the name? I didn't even catch up on, but the way they said it, they say Helen.
Okay, let's do it like this. If you can't pronounce my name correctly, let me introduce myself. I prefer that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Alicia, no problem, Alicia.
Alright, so carrying on with the show this evening, we have Alan Murgan by my side, and we are talking about Ayyappa Appa, and we actually delivered two different stories which we've mentioned in other shows before. But to complete today's show on Ayyappa Appa, Alan Murgan, take it away.
Yes. Now we're still reading his story as well.
Okay.
Where was I? Yeah. Now he said, according to this Purana, the child thus born to Shiva and Vishnu was destined to kill Maheshi, who was placed by the Devas on earth on the banks of the river Pampa, where Maheshi was living along with Sundara Maheshi during this time. King Rajashekar of the small kingdom of Pandalam in South Kerala was engaging himself in a hunting expedition when he was moving along the banks of the river Pampa. He saw a crying child in a secluded spot. He took this child to his place and brought him up as his foster son. Now, this part of the story is similar to our own story as well. The child was named Ayyappa. The child who was named Ayyappan grew up in the place under the affectionate care of King Rajasekhar, who had no son of his own. The boy proved himself to be a genius and mastered the Vedas and the martial science quickly. His spiritual power was expressed when he miraculously cured his guru's son, who was born blind, deaf and dumb. So he cured his guru's son, maybe as a form of thank you, payment for teaching, right? This childless king was happy that he could find a worthy heir to his throne. Then an unexpected turn occurred. The queen became pregnant and delivered a son. Right? Now, the Prime Minister of Pandalam disliked the idea of the king installing Ayyappa as the heir to the kingdom, for he considered the boy to be an orphan and also a potent threat to his authority. He tried several ways to do away with Ayyappa, but failed. At last, he instigated the queen to feign a severe illness and the royal physician to prescribe that the only remedy was a certain medicine to be taken along with the milk of a tiger or tigress. Okay, this one differs a bit from my story, as it doesn't mention anything of, my story doesn't mention anything about the minister and so forth.
Okay.
But we can see, you know what, it can be a lot of truth to it as well. There's always somebody trying to instigate somebody else to do something they don't want to do. Obviously, the queen will want her son to be installed, right, as the new prince or the heir to the kingdom. And Ayyappa being someone that she didn't know that is divine. So obviously she didn't accept it because now, okay, I've got my own son. And some women, you know, they will accept it and they love the child that they adopted more than they love their own children in some cases. And that's the truth. Right? I think we've seen it in a movie somewhere.
I haven't. I've never seen such.
No, there's a movie with Amitabh Bachchan where the mother loved the son, the adopted son, more than his own son. I can't remember the name of the movie, but I know Shah Rukh Khan acts there, and Hrithik Roshan as well, and Amitabh Bachchan.
Okay.
So maybe if you can jog my memories, you can WhatsApp me, or you can
WhatsApp the station. You can actually
send us a WhatsApp or send us an email or so forth. You can actually comment on the screen there when you're watching the upload of the show.
Yes, you
Just
can.
remember, we're not live at the moment, so unfortunately, due to the server problems.
Yes.
Okay. Now where were we? Okay. The remedy was to be taken along with a certain milk of a tiger. The brave youth Ayyappa volunteered to go to the forest to fetch the tigress's milk. The minister was certain that the helpless boy would never return and he would be killed by the beasts. During this period, Maheshi was living in the forest, forgetting everything else, engaging herself in a lust for her life along with Sundara Maheshi. Meanwhile, being deceived by Vishnu in the form of Mohini, the Asuras were aghast and depressed. So they were angry, they were depressed. Now we were deceived by Mohini. Right? They told her how she herself was enticed from the heavens by Sundara Maheshi, who was a creation of the three divinities for that purpose. Meanwhile, Sundara Maheshi disappeared and rejoined the three divinities. Realizing her folly, Maheshi became terribly furious and rushed to the heavens with thousands of creatures like herself who emerged from her hair follicles. They devastated the kingdom of Indra. It was then the boy Ayyappa reached the forest to fetch the tigress's milk for the queen. The Devas came down and took refuge at the feet of Ayyappa because, being the son of Shiva and Vishnu, he alone could destroy this terrible Maheshi. Ayyappa accompanied them to the heavens. He caught hold of Maheshi by her horns, lifted her and hurled her downwards. She fell near the river Azuta, lying there incapacitated, and having the divine touch of Ayyappa, she immediately recollected her original divine nature and sang praise of him. As the compassionate glance of Ayyappa fell on her, there emerged out of her a bizarre body of extremely beautiful goddess, now worshipped as the goddess, Malikapura Tamma in Sabarimale. Thereafter, Ayyappa returned to the kingdom of Pandalam, riding a huge tiger and accompanied by a host of ferocious beasts. The people were flabbergasted at this incredible sight. The king and queen and all others realized the divinity of Ayyappa, and all of them prostrated before him. Ayyappa imparted to them spiritual wisdom about the meaning and destiny of human life. The king prayed to the Lord to bless them with his everlasting spiritual presence in a temple to be dedicated to him, for showering his grace to millions for generations to come. That would be especially necessary in the present Iron Age or Kali Yuga, when people would increasingly tend to be self-centered and materialistic, bringing much disharmony to life. The king implored Ayyappa to bless all by assuming himself as the aspect of Kali Yuga Varada, the spiritual power that would protect the people from evil propensities of the Iron Age and guide them in their striving for spiritual liberation. Thereupon, the Lord suggested a holy spot and advised the king to construct a temple there. The Lord assured him that the temple would ever be vibrant with his divine presence, and then he disappeared. Okay, talking about this story, my story is a little bit different as well. As when the king asked him, instead of just selecting a spot and so forth and explaining this stuff, Lord Ayyappa chose an arrow, and he shot an arrow, and he told the king, wherever the arrow landed, that's where you will build my temple.
That's what I know.
No, that's my story, but I'm just saying, this is now the story that was sent to me.
Sent by Anonymous, yeah.
Eventually, the king constructed a temple in the deep forest of Sabarimale, as suggested by the Lord. During the consecration of the idol, there was the presence of great sages like Agastya, Parasurama, and others. It was sage Parasurama who installed the idol of Lord Ayyappa seated in the yogic pose Virasanam and showing the mystic sign of Chin Mudra by the right hand. This is the Puranic version.
Okay.
Oh, that's what he says. So, if anybody else decides to disagree or they have a different opinion, so forth, you're more than welcome to please let us know.
Yeah.
Or maybe we said something that's against your own beliefs.
Your beliefs.
Please send us your own beliefs as well. We're open to learning.
Okay, so Alan, with 5 minutes left on the clock, and ladies and gentlemen, anything else you'd like to share about Ayyappa himself, or the story which you shared with us today?
Okay, like we said, regarding that Puranic pose, you see his feet are flat on the ground.
Yeah.
Right? And his back is at a right angle to his body.
90 degrees, yeah.
Right? So, holding that pose is not very easy. Have you tried doing it?
I've told you before, I do it all the time.
Try it and show me how you do it.
On the chair, no, we can't do it in
No,
the studio.
try it.
Yeah.
You see, she doesn't want to try it. But the thing is, it's not easy to hold that without holding your own knees.
It is.
No, if you sit up.
Oh, sorry, I've been
your feet.
doing yoga my whole life, guys, sorry.
So now if you try and sit like it, I'll fall down.
Yeah, I won't do that in the studio too.
No, but you cross your legs like this.
Yeah.
But his feet is straight.
Yes.
Remember, it's
Flat
two
on the
together.
ground, yeah.
So obviously his knees are apart.
Yes.
Right? And the way
I actually admire the way he sits.
yeah. Now, to hold that position and to make it more comfortable for him, that is why you always find the belt.
Yes.
Well, I think I explained that story to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that belt is there, to make it more comfortable for him to sit in that position, because it is not very easy to hold that position in the correct way
For many
and
hours.
be comfortable. And be comfortable.
Mm.
Now, usually you'll have to use your own hands to hold your knees in
Yeah.
position. Now, obviously he's holding mudra,
Yes.
the way he's using his hands,
Yes.
right? Now, so he can't hold his knees together like that. To make it easier for him, one of the kings, I think it was a Pandala king,
Yes.
offered a belt to Ayyappa, placed a belt there so it would be easier for him to hold that position.
Right.
And that is why normally he is always portrayed with a belt.
Yes.
Some people put the belt on the top, some people in the front. So it's different. If you feel you've got a better explanation for it, or your belief is different, please do share with us. We also want to learn as well.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's about it.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, there's certain poses and certain things I would not display with a desk in front of us, as that is not respectable as a woman, Mr. Murgan. Yes, but we thank you all for joining our spiritual journey, our spiritual show. It's called Exploring Hinduism, and it's called The Journey. Now, if you want to be a part of the show, remember, Alan Murgan and I, we're not selfish. We want to put more chairs in the studio. We want to teach others, as we also would like to learn.
Yes, it's all about learning.
That's what it's about, ladies
We
and
are
gentlemen.
open to learning.
And it's open to all ages, mind you. So don't ever think if you are 70 years old or 80 years old and you're sitting at home and you're watching this for the first time and you're like, oh my God, let me like, share and subscribe first. Just had to throw that in there. And then if you want to teach us, we are still learning every day. You're still learning every day. And if you want to combine your knowledge with us, why not? We can do it as a team.
And sometimes the youngest children, like 4-year-old Nalisha Govender,
Yes,
how cute is she? And you know what? You can learn a lot from children.
that is so true. Oh man,
That's
kids
why
say
I
the
love
darndest
it.
things. That show, when I used to watch it, you learn. It's so strange and so powerful when a pure mind actually tells you something, and you listen to the child and you're like, did you just hear what the child said?
Mm-hmm.
And you realize you just learned something.
And sometimes, children are more open to things. So when you meet somebody for the first time,
Yes.
you're able to say things and
Do things that you would never.
and you know what? You'll
Yeah.
be thinking something else, and then you don't even know how does it pertain to that person.
Yes.
This child is telling them something, and then after you find out, hey, look.
The simplicity of it was actually beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. From myself, Kimera, Heeralal, and Alan
And
Murgan.
Murgan, Vanakkam.
Good night.